If you have ever lived in a hostel, you know, strange sounds are normal. Footsteps, doors opening, people talking late at night. But what happened in room 17 was something I can never explain. This happened during my first year of engineering college. The hostel was old, very old. The building had cracked walls, broken windows, and long dark corridors that always felt colder than the rest of the campus. I shared room 17 with another student named Arjun. One night, around 2 a.m., I woke up to a strange scratching sound. Scratch, scratch, scratch. It sounded like someone was dragging their fingernails under my bed. At first, I thought it was a rat. I ignored it and tried to sleep, but the sound continued. Slow, careful, almost like something was moving beneath me. I switched on my phone flashlight and looked around. Nothing. The room was empty. Arjun was sleeping peacefully. The scratching stopped. I laughed at myself and went back to sleep. The next night, it happened again. This time it was louder. Scratch, scratch, scratch. The sound came from directly under my bed. I sat up immediately. The noise stopped. For a few seconds, everything was silent. Then I heard a whisper, a very faint whisper. Look down. My blood froze. I turned on the flashlight and checked beneath the bed. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. The next morning I told Arjun. Instead of laughing, his face turned pale. He asked me one question. Did the voice tell you to look down? My heart skipped a beat. I asked how he knew. Arjun admitted he had heard the same thing a week earlier. Neither of us slept properly that night. Around 3 a.m., the scratching started again. Both of us heard it. This time we forced ourselves to look. We pointed our flashlights under the bed. Nothing. But on the dusty floor beneath the bed were fresh marks. Long scratch marks. As if someone had been clawing the concrete. The next day we asked the hostel caretaker. The old man became quiet. Then he told us something disturbing. Years ago, a student had committed suicide in room 17. His body remained under the bed for nearly an entire day before anyone found him. That evening we requested a room change. The request was approved immediately, almost too quickly. As we were moving our belongings, I noticed something carved beneath my old bed. 3 words. I'm still here. To this day, I don't know who carved it. And I never returned to room 17 again. Story 2. The girl in the washroom. During my second year, I moved into another hostel. The building had 6 floors. The 6th floor was mostly empty because it was under renovation. Students rarely went there. One evening, my friends dared me to explore it. I accepted. At around 11 p.m., I walked upstairs alone. The 6th floor felt abandoned. Dust covered everything. The lights flickered constantly. At the end of the corridor was an old washroom. Its door was slightly open. As I walked past it, I heard someone crying. A girl. Soft, broken sobs. I stopped. There were no girls allowed in the boys' hostel. Yet the crying continued. I slowly pushed the washroom door open. Inside, every stall was empty. The crying stopped instantly. The silence felt unnatural. I quickly left. The next night, curiosity brought me back. Again, I heard the same crying. This time it sounded louder, like the girl was standing only a few feet away. I gathered my courage and entered. Nothing. But then I noticed something strange. One stall door was slowly moving. Back and forth, even though there was no wind. I approached it. The crying returned, louder than before. My hands trembled as I pushed the stall door open. It was empty, but written on the wall was a sentence. Why didn't you help me? I ran downstairs. The next morning, I told a senior student. His expression changed immediately. He said a female worker had died on that floor years ago. According to rumors, she became trapped inside the washroom during renovation work. Nobody heard her cries for help. She died alone. That night, several students and I went upstairs together. We wanted proof. At first, nothing happened. Then one of my friends pointed toward the mirror. A reflection stood behind us. A young girl. Pale face. Long black hair. But when we turned around, nobody was there. The reflection remained for a split second, then vanished. We ran. Every single one of us. A week later, the entire 6th floor was permanently locked. And even today, students say they sometimes hear crying from behind the sealed washroom door. Story 3. The empty bed. This is the most terrifying thing that ever happened to me. It happened during my final year. I was staying in a hostel room with 3 roommates. Everything was normal until one of them left for home during vacation. His bed remained empty. For several days, nobody touched it. Then strange things began happening. Every morning, the blanket on the empty bed looked disturbed, as if someone had slept there. We blamed each other. Everyone denied touching it. One night, around 1 a.m., I woke up suddenly. The room felt unusually cold. I looked toward the empty bed. The blanket was moving, very slowly, as if someone underneath was breathing. I stared in disbelief. Maybe it was my imagination. Maybe I was dreaming. Then the mattress sank, like an invisible person had just sat down. I couldn't move. I couldn't speak. After a few seconds, the mattress returned to normal. The next morning, I told my roommates. Nobody believed me. Until the following night. At around 2 a.m., all 3 of us woke up to the sound of footsteps inside the room. Tap, tap, tap. The footsteps stopped beside the empty bed. We switched on the lights. Nobody was there. But the blanket was folded neatly. Something none of us had done. A few days later, our absent roommate finally returned. Before we could tell him anything, he looked at the bed and frowned. Then he asked, "Who has been sleeping on my bed?" We told him nobody. His face turned white. He explained that before leaving, he had hidden a small notebook beneath the mattress. Now it was lying on top of the pillow, exactly in the center, as if someone had placed it there deliberately. That night we searched the room. Inside the notebook, we found something none of us remembered writing. A message appeared on the final page. The handwriting belonged to nobody in the room. It simply said, "Thank you for letting me stay." The hostel management later told us the previous occupant of that room had died from a sudden illness while sleeping in that exact bed. We moved out within 2 days, and none of us ever spent another night there again. Because sometimes, the scariest thing isn't seeing a ghost. It's realizing that one has been living beside you the entire time.